This trend on Etsy is absolutely blowing up right now, and the best part is it's so new that you will be able to apply this to basically any season, holiday, or niche moving forward. New listings that are less than a month old are making hundreds of sales, and this trend will work for both digital product shops and print-on-demand shops, and I'm going to show you exactly how to create it. And do make sure that you stay to the end, because I do have an extra tip that is going to basically 10x your listings and hopefully 10x your sales. If you are new to the channel, I am Bailey, the owner of Bailey Design Co., a 7-figure digital product shop on Etsy, and I now teach others how to create the same types of shops on this channel and in my online communities. So people love to complain that Etsy is too saturated, and this trend just proves otherwise. Basically, all of the listings that I have found are less than 2 to 3 months old, yet they are making hundreds of sales in basically any niche that they are applied to. So the trend that I'm talking about on Etsy right now is what I am just calling the brushstroke trend, because I don't know if there is a particular name for it yet. So that's what we're just going to call it here. And the reason why this is popping off so much is because people who buy the end product, so the end shirt or sweatshirt, are always looking for new and unique types of styles that they can wear that everyone else isn't already wearing everywhere. The second reason for more so in the digital side of things is that POD, people who purchase designs, as well as crafters who make the shirts, are always looking for the next trendy design style. So the brushstroke aesthetic is basically what it sounds like. It's just these brush strokes. However, there is a particular theme to the strokes, meaning that they can be holiday or seasonal themed, or maybe they can apply to a particular niche like nurses or teachers or horse lovers, for an example. So first off, I'm going to hop over to my computer and show you how to come up with design ideas that you can apply to this brushstroke trend, and make sure that you are creating designs that are going to sell in this particular design style by already looking at what's working on Etsy. So again, here are a few of the types of styles or trends that I am referring to. And as you can see from my Everbee extension here, this one is about a month old with 263 sales. And this one is a particular type of holiday for Mardi Gras. So you can see the brush style here, and then it just has elements of the particular holiday there. So this next one is applying towards a particular niche, in this case softball. The listing is about a month old with a total of 89 sales. And again, you'll see the brush strokes here with just different elements of softball. And this one, they have the text on the bottom for game day. And some of these you will want to have something like this, and others don't require any type of text at all, making it that much easier. This one is another really good example of a holiday, though this one would be a little bit too late for you to put up since it already is February, but the listing was about 3 months old with 288 sales. And for this one, they put the text on the top, so making it a little bit different. For the ones that I've seen that are doing really well, they do tend to have them on the bottom. And so it's just something for you to test out and see if it performs better if it's on the bottom or on the top. Okay, so next we're going to figure out what type of design we want to make into our brushstroke design pattern or style. So what I've done is type in trendy Easter shirt design PNG, and this is just going to give me all of the results that are really popular right now for Easter in the PNG design space. You could also do this for the print-on-demand space, just take off the design and the PNG part. So what I'm seeing is a lot of the coquette theme. I am seeing a lot of bright spring colors. This one is like a brushstroke pattern in the object, but this is not necessarily what we are looking to make. What I'm really just taking into consideration here is a lot of the colors and a lot of the elements that are being used. So Easter is going to be really easy anyway, because it's just bunnies and eggs and baskets and tulips and carrots. So For some of them, you might not need to do this, but you want to look at Etsy as far as just different color palettes that are being used, and then infuse that with the different other trends like coquette, because that is really big right now still. And so that would be something to add into our brush stroke pattern. You'll want to do this for any particular type of style or season, holiday, occupation, niche, whatever it is, and replace this part here with whatever it is that you're going to be designing for. So for this one, I did trendy happy St. Patrick shirt design PNG, and I'm seeing, of course, a lot of lucky. I'm seeing shamrocks, green, of course. Coquette theme is big here too. Highland cows are making their appearance, which they tend to do anyway, regardless of the niche. Some coffee, rainbows, typical St. Patrick type of theme. When I am doing this, I really am just looking at what is popular and what is selling a lot by looking at my Everbee extension right here. So this would be good to note that it is 1 month old and it has had 85 sales, and it happens to be the coquette themed, just made into a St. Patrick's Day style with a kind of watercolor effect. As always, keep in mind that we are not trying to copy anything. We are just looking at inspiration as far as what is selling. With what we're doing, as you can see, we haven't really seen any brushstroke type pattern on this first page of the trendy St. Patrick's Day or on the Easter side. So that is a good indication that there's not a lot of people doing this yet. And so we definitely have an edge. So to easily create a design like this with AI, I am going to be using Kittl. That way I can just do everything from start to finish in just one type of software, making it really easy and really quick to do these types of designs. Okay, so in Kittl, I am just going to click on New Project and then set my artboard for this to be 300 DPI and 5000 by 5000 pixels. It is just a 1-to-1 square ratio for this particular design style. You could do the typical print on demand size, which is like 4500 by 5400 pixels, but most of these will work perfectly with just a square, so that is what I am creating them at. So then I'm going to click on the Kittl AI tool, which is this little star icon right here, and then click on Image Generator. For these types of designs, I am using the clip art style of the watercolor one, just because most of the design styles that we saw on Etsy are a watercolor type style anyway. And then if I'm using the clip art styles in Kittl, then I'm bound to get a white background, versus if I use like the digital art style or the photography one, the images might be more detailed. However, they won't be the clip art style with the white background that I need it to be to easily remove that. So to generate these, you will want to have a prompt that is specifically made for the brushstroke and for them to be vertical and to have all of these different types of elements. It is a rather detailed prompt, so these will be down in the description. But basically what I'm doing is when I change them, moving from one type of season or niche to another, I am just changing out the color palette at the very beginning. Then I'm specifying that it needs to be Easter, or it needs to be about baseball or St. Patrick's Day, or whatever it might be. And then I'm just going in and adding the different elements here. So for the Easter one, it has fluffy Easter bunny carrots, some spring tulips, there's floral painted Easter eggs, a coquette bow, since I'm adding that in, since I saw a lot of that, and then some rain boots. So again, this will be down in the description for you to easily copy and paste and then edit to whatever your particular niche is that you're creating these for. And as you can see, most of them turned out super, super cute. My favorite one was the St. Patrick's Day one down here. And with this one, I did add the text down here to put lucky in the actual prompt, so that will be in the prompt below. This one, I did have the game day, and for the Easter one, I decided not to have any text on there. So that one was pretty simple. And then I just changed up the color palette for the baseball one, just to make it be a pastel theme and more girly instead of this more traditional one, but this traditional one would be really cute as well. The only thing I would note with this one is just to make sure you are covering up this New York Yankees symbol, because we don't want to get in trouble with copyright for that one. And that would be really it on this one to edit. So you're probably thinking that these look great. However, they do have some of them that are cut off. Some of them, like this St. Patrick's Day one, turned out perfect where it wouldn't need any type of editing. And this pink pastel one looks perfect as well, but these two up here have parts of the image that have a harsh line here. So we do want to make sure that we fix that. So here in Kittl, what you'll want to do is click on your individual image. And if I was creating these, I wouldn't be generating all of these at once on this one canvas. I would put them on individual canvases. This is just for demo purposes, just to show you in comparison to all of them on here, but you would want to do these one at a time and make sure that you are filling out your entire canvas with the design so that when you save it, it is big enough and high enough quality to be used. Okay, so for this game day one, what we're going to do is, again, make sure the image is clicked on, and then you're going to want to click on Kittl Copilot, which is right here, and then we're going to select this erase and fill. So this kind of works like Photoshop's generative AI fill, but what I've seen it do with Kittl is it really kind of just blurs and distresses out wherever you are highlighting or erasing kind of. And that is fine for this particular type of design style because it's just giving it that type of watercolor effect and the brushstroke effect, which works really well for this particular style. So all I'm doing is just erasing over it like this. You do want to make sure that you grab quite a bit of it so that it can kind of just blur this and blend that together. So as you can see, now I have a little bit more of a drip effect and the shoe kind of just goes into it and it looks way better than the harsh line. Then I'm just going to repeat the process for the baseball mitt over here, and then for a little bit of the hot dog area over here, and maybe a tiny bit of the edge of the popcorn thing. So that looks fine there. It blends into the brush stroke, and then I'm going to click on that just so we don't have a harsh line on the edge of the hot dog portion right there. And that just fades out, which is perfect. And then we're gonna do it right here for this edge of the popcorn. Then once you're done, you can click done up there and then go ahead and click off of it so that you don't have the blue line, so you can see and make sure that that looks good. So it is still a little bit cut off here, but it's not like a harsh line where you can see. This one is a little bit more, I didn't grab the shadow right here enough so you can see the line there. So I'm going to make sure and click on that one again and then highlight that area of the shadow where it's still kind of cut off and see if I can get it to blend in just a little bit better. And that one almost looks a little bit worse, so we're gonna just do this again. Again, this will take a couple tries, but it usually ends up working, so just be patient with it. Okay, and so that one, it kind of took out the shadow altogether, so now I just have a tiny bit left that is still bothering me, so I'm gonna do it one more time and see if we can get that off. Okay, so that looks fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process for this little Easter one because I love this little bunny one here. But the boots are cut off here and the florals are here. So I'm gonna work on this one for a bit and see if I can get these evened out. Okay, so for this one, I ended up I fixed this one just a little bit and blurred out that egg like that. But then I went back and started looking at the ones that were doing well on Etsy, and they seem to have it cut off just depending on the type of style. I have noticed with the ones that I am doing that are like this, some of mine have the images coming out outside of the brush stroke, if that makes sense. So like this one here or like this one here, but they can also be just directly within the silhouette or the outline of the brush stroke. So I think it's actually fine to leave it like this if it comes out that way. And so I'm going to leave this one as it is just because it looks cute this way anyway, and it kind of looks more on point with the ones that are currently selling like this style here. Everything is contained within the brush stroke, if that makes sense. So once you have all of these edited in the way that you want, either with the generative fill or leaving it like this, then you'll want to download these. So you'll just want to make sure that you have upscaled them. So we want to click on the upscale. I believe I already upscaled this, so it might give me an error message in just a moment. Oh, there it goes. And then also click remove background so that you can download this as a transparent PNG. Again, this would normally be the full size way this way, as you can see it there. And then I'm downloading it at the correct size. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to download each of these and then move on to the mockup process, which is basically just as important as the design process, because no matter how good your design may be, if you choose a poorly converting type of mockup or a mockup that doesn't maybe match the overall design aesthetic of your design, that can have an effect on your sales. So I always recommend that when you are looking for mockups, just look at the converting listings that are selling well on Etsy and make sure that you are mocking up accordingly. So for example, this one is just a simple flat lay, but The listing is only 2 months old and it's had over 100 sales. So while the design is really cute, the actual mock-up is a highly converting mock-up as well, just because we've seen this style perform very well on Etsy over and over again. So same with things like this one here. And as you can see, the images are very closely cropped in or zoomed in. So you want to make sure that you are doing that as well when you are mocking up your designs or your print-on-demand products. So over here in Kittl, this is just an example of one of my designs that I have that is a St. Patrick's Day type of mock-up, but it does add to the overall design, making it that much cuter and can help with conversions. Of course, you can always go with a really simple flat lay type of design like this, but just make sure that you do zoom it in so the design is the central focus, and then add your design. So here, this one I didn't remove the background, sorry about that. So again, when you've downloaded them before, they will already have the background removed, and then you can add them back in here. This one isn't working as well because it's then getting onto the sleeve part here. So you would have to fix that just so that, or not use a type of mock-up where it's cutting off on the sleeve like that, or you could just simply make it a little bit smaller like that. And that's probably where I would leave it. That part isn't too bad. I could crop this in a little bit to make it more realistic so that that would be in there, or you even erase this on this part of the design, which that is what I'm actually going to do. Because we don't want it to look like it's just there and not really fixed. So that part there, so that is the part that would be covered up, and then I'm just going to click on done. And then as you can see, it looks a lot more realistic. Then you'll just download these. Again, it's just a 1-to-1 ratio. And then this is what you would add to your Etsy listing. And when you are building your Etsy listing for these types of products, since I didn't really find anything in terms of the keyword brushstroke, I would tend to use the types of SEO or the type of SEO on the higher converting listings that you found your design styles in. So for example, if you were doing this one where it says, or where it's just like a retro type of pattern, I wouldn't even probably add the brushstroke in there yet unless we start to see that pop on as an actual keyword search term, the more popular that this type of style gets. I would just use the simple SEO that they're using. So retro, coquette, St. Patrick's Day, shamrock, and then really just adjust it to whatever that you have in your actual design. So the more the ways that you can get found that there's an actual search for something. So maybe it would be cowgirl if you were infusing that into it, again, coquette, and then of course your typical St. Patrick's Day keywords would work as well. Okay, so back to the beginning when I said I have a way for you to 10x your listing and hopefully 10x your sales. This is, again, using AI, but it's going to make the process of creating more prompts like this for different niches super, super quick and easy for you. So over here in ChatGPT, what I've asked it to do is rewrite this image prompt in 10 different ways for the 4th of July niche. So what you would want to do is just replace this, the 4th of July part, with whatever niche or season or holiday that you are designing for. So that could be rewrite this in 10 different ways for nurses, rewrite this in 10 different ways for Christmas, whatever it might be. And then what I did is then copy the prompt. This is the Easter prompt right here. And then what it did is give me 10 rewrites of that prompt in different ways. I did go on because I didn't necessarily I tested a few of these in Kittl that I needed to add a few more parameters to make sure I was getting that same type of watercolor style and hand-drawn aesthetic, as well as throw in a few things like coquette and of course my favorite of all time, the Highland cows. So I said these were okay, but incorporate that they need to be hand-drawn and watercolor style. Make sure some of the image prompts have a coquette theme, some are more traditional patriotic themed, and then some should feature patriotic Highland cows. If you have been around the channel long enough, you know how much I love Highland cows and how popular they are on Etsy, that they will work essentially for any type of niche and design style out there. So that is meaning the same brushstroke style is probably going to work with the Highland cows, as we saw earlier in that Valentine example. So then it gave me a lot more detailed results, all with the hand-drawn and watercolor type of a style. Some were coquette, some were boho themed, some were very traditional. Of course, several of them had the Highland cows in there, but then I can just copy and paste these over into my AI tool. So over here in Kittl, I did a couple, and some of them turned out like this little square collage type style, which then when I went and checked on Etsy, there are some sellers that are having success with the four placement or four type collage, I guess we would call it. But I still tend to like this one a little bit better. So I think this one turned out super, super cute. I would definitely buy a shirt if it had this on it. I didn't like that the horns got cut off, but at least it was distressed on this part. So it looks like it was just like the straight type of style that a lot of them have that we saw earlier. So this type of effect where it doesn't really matter if it's cut off or not, it tends to look more like this one. So this one, the little cow, doesn't even have a horn, so I am fine with the ones that came out looking like this. So I would definitely recommend doing this if you want to save yourself, number one, a ton of time when having to rewrite prompts for different types of styles and niches. Again, I tested this with several different types of hobbies and occupations, and it was working really well. It's just a matter of making sure that when you ask ChatGPT to rewrite it, that you want it to be, or you want to be specific with the type of design style, or maybe a variety of them. So for me, I did coquette, I did some glitter and sparkle. Some of them turned out more boho, which is what I am thinking this one is because of the way that the little bandana is on it and the flowers. Okay, so now that you have seen how to very quickly create this type of design style, if you do want to see how I list my products so that they sell super quickly, then be sure to watch this next video here. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.